morning, guys. This is Derek King, KingFish on YouTube. I decided to make this video. Again, I'm sitting in my home office early in the morning on Saturday looking at my fish like a lot of us do. I decided to make this video after having a conversation with one of my friends who's actually purchasing one of my tanks. You know, as we were kind of going over, you know, he asked me a simple question. You know, what do you know now that you wish you would have known, you know, that can kind of save me a lot of money as I'm going through the hobby or whatever the case may be. So I decided to go ahead and put this list together. Now, by no means is this the absolute definitive list. And here's my 125 as it's coming along. Most of you know that I upgraded from a 75 to a 125, and that's part of some of the things I'm going to be talking about in this video. Well, basically, and again, like I said, this is not by any means a definitive list. This is just some of the things I wish I would have known. Would have saved me a lot of money and a lot of headache and heartache, you know, over the time. Go out and buy yourself some Seachem, some Quick Start, a water changer, a water tester, and some coral or some cichlid sand to actually buffer it. The reason why I recommend go out and buy some Seachem Prime specifically is because Seachem Prime will get rid of chloramines, chlorine, as well as reduce ammonia and nitrate spikes in a jam if you had to. In fact, I actually stopped buying water treatment and just buy that because it actually does do the same thing as it relates to chloramines and chlorines in the water. But in a jam, and I've had this happen, you know, if you have a nitrate or ammonia spike, you can actually, by looking at the bottle, introduce 5 times the dosage to actually save your fish. So having that on hand, and it's relatively cheap, is actually a very good idea. As it relates to Quick Start, I'm really just meaning introducing bacteria into your tank, beneficial bacteria. As you know, a lot of people watch Tank and those kind of things. They do put up tanks and put up fish immediately, and they do sell products in the stores to allow you to immediately add fish. And I do say that they do work. You know, I'm not suggesting you add as many fish as I have in my tank here, but what I am suggesting is that you add that beneficial bacteria so that it can address those issues as it relates to the ammonia, to the nitrogen cycle. Water changer. I suggest go out and buy a water changer primarily because early on in the entire time, you're going to want to be doing water changes. When you have those issues with ammonia and you have those issues with nitrites specifically, you're going to want to do a water change. And buying a water changer will reduce a lot of headache. It really, really will. And I wish I'd known that, but you know, I was bucketing the water and stuff before that. Now also buy a very good water tester. You know, it took me a while. I was using the strips and everything at first, and you know, like most people end up finding out, you actually need a better water test kit, so that way you can have more accurate readings as it relates to what's going on in your tank, and that'll save you a lot of money and save the lives of a lot of your fish. Buy some coral or some cichlid sand to buffer that because African cichlids need high pH. You know, and instead of introducing more chemicals like pH buffers and those kind of things into your tank, I mean, I have a couple of pieces of coral, real coral behind these rocks that actually keeps my pH above 8.5 without having to buy those other products and put those in my tank. Next, I would say overfilter. One of the things I didn't know early on is you cannot filter your tank enough. I'm filtering this 125 like it's a 1,000-gallon tank. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I mean, you're going to end up with a lot more water movement or water disturbance and everything at the top, which actually helps that oxygen exchange. But that's for a whole nother video or someone else's video, in all honesty. But overfilter your tank. That'll definitely help you. And in fact, let me kind of back up. When you're introducing that bacteria, whether through Quick Start or some other bacteria product into your tank, you know, be patient, introduce it. In fact, I actually pour a little bit of it into the media, into the filter. So it actually works out pretty good. You know, you're going to end up going through the cycle and getting a little bit of cloudiness or whatever over the next couple of days. But hey, it's what's going to keep the fish alive. Number 3, understand the basics of the nitrogen cycle. You know, that you're going to end up with ammonia spikes first, then a nitrite spike, and then nitrates. Now, the first two, ammonia and nitrites, will kill your fish. So you absolutely have to be willing to test the water, do the water changes as necessary. Remember, these fish do everything in this water. They poop in this water. They do everything. So you need to provide them a good, healthy environment by getting rid of some of those toxins in that water, that ammonia and those nitrites specifically. Don't overfeed. It'll kill your fish. Early on, you know, we all have a tendency to want to feed our fish a lot because we like to see them eat. But it turns out it's just going to kill them. You know, give them stuff like Malawi bloat. Also is going to going to wreak havoc on you as it relates to trying to keep that ammonia reasonable, even if you are overfiltering. So don't overfeed your fish. Buy the largest tank you could afford. That's my number 5. Buy the largest tank you could afford. And I'll tell you why. You're going to get there anyway. And anyone who keeps African cichlids knows that. You know, I have 3 different tanks. I actually sold one. I have 3 different tanks because I went from a 36 to a 75 to this 125. And most people can tell you that keep African cichlids, you end up getting there anyways. And there's a secondary benefit to it. And that secondary benefit is that it makes it easier to control the nitrogen cycle. It makes it easier to keep your fish, and it's more healthy, you know, for them. Number 6, don't start with Mbuna because of their super over aggressiveness. Now, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me there, but that's okay. Like I said, by no means am I the guru. These are just the things I wish I would have known. They're super aggressive. And when you go to places like PetSmart, Petco, those kind of things, that's largely what they have is Mbuna. And I actually still have some in this tank, and a lot of people have some mixed with haps and peacocks or whatever the case may be. And as long as you have a better understanding of husbandry as it relates to keeping fish together, then you'll be fine. Like there's one right there. Number 8, and this one I cannot stress enough. Subscribe to other people on YouTube is going to provide you some information. Now, this list of people I'm about to provide is by no means a definitive list. It's just the ones that I look at. And I can tell you it helps me a whole lot in order to, you know, when I'm actually looking at them. And that list is ARU Joey, because he provides a lot of DIY information, those kind of things. Cyber Aquarius, Bali 12345, Mr. Honey to You, Jay Wilson, Dolly VH, KG Tropicals, Lou 9294, Dustin's Fish Tanks, Shane Church, Big Munoz 11, and check out Nesto Jr. Nesto has a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous tank with some red bulus in there that are just off the chain. I mean, they just absolutely beautiful. Now, if I left you off that list, please don't be offended. Like I said, there's a lot of people who probably deserve to be on that list, but those right there that I just actually mentioned would definitely help you, definitely save you money for a variety of reasons. Be willing to remove any fish from your tank that's overly aggressive or killing your fish. You might be able to reintroduce it. The reason why I say that is because you can fall in love with a fish like that Taiwan reef right there. You know, if he were killing my fish, I have to be willing to take him out. In fact, if you watch Mr. Honey to You, he put some fish in timeout. It's just a small pet carrier, and that does work. And I mean, I've taken some fish out, reintroduced them 2 weeks later, and they're fine. Like actually that peacock right there, that one that's mainly white, I'm actually spooking the fish with this iPad. That's why you kind of see them reacting the way they are. You might be able to reintroduce them, but you have to be willing to make whatever changes necessary as it relates to husbandry, because you can end up losing your fish, overstressing your fish, and stuff like that, you know, simply by keeping an overly aggressive fish in your tank, or not having a good understanding that you have some females that are making your males actually fight each other. And additionally, you want to be careful as it relates to the colors of the fish, you know, how they react to each other. Fish of the same species sometimes will be overly aggressive and fight each other for dominance. And last, watch out for over-colored juveniles. They might be juiced with hormones or actually colored. And it took me a minute to figure this out. You know, having some fish that are very, very small, looking like they're, you know, 2 inches, but colored up perfectly, you know, only to get them home to find out that they can actually be painted or overjuiced, and or actually females, because of the hormones, mimicking males until you stop those hormones, and then they turn out to just be a trick to you. Well, I hope this helps anyone. Like I said, it's not a definitive list. If you like it, please subscribe. Other than that, everyone, enjoy yourselves. Like I said, it's not a definitive list. I didn't make this list to cause a stir or an argument with people, because by no means do I know everything at all. I learn a lot by watching other people's videos and just by keeping these fish myself. So other than that, you guys enjoy your weekend. I hope you enjoy watching my fish. Sorry this was a little shaky, as I was actually trying to get through that list at the same time while filming the fish. Enjoy yourselves. Later.